And welcome, folks, to another live event. This week we are doing airplane. So we have an hour to answer all your ground school questions, all your aviation questions that you may have. We do this every 2 weeks on this channel. We go every other week, we go on our drone channel and do the same thing and answer hundreds of questions over there in an hour, which is a ton of fun. I see some familiar faces in here. I see Matt Bagwell. I see Maddie from Maddie's Drone World. I see Casey Jones. I see Marty. Marty Jenska is in there. Long-time follower. Marty's been with us for a long time. Did his private and I think instrument with us as well. We have Ken M. I see some questions. I'll get to those questions in a minute. I'm going to let everybody kind of settle in. And if you have a question, doesn't matter what it is, aviation related. I know sometimes we even answer drone questions in here. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments, and then I'll get to them. We've been busy actually this week. We had a team that went to Ohio to Flight Fest. Flight Fest is this cool RC airplane event, probably the largest in the country, probably in the world even. Thousands of people go out there and fly their fixed-wing airplane, fixed-wing helicopters. You see all sorts of things flying around. And our team just came back today, actually. They drove out there and, they drove quite a bit in the last 2 days to get back on time. And so we'll have more videos on that very soon. We have posted quite a few of them actually already on the drone channel. So if you're not on the drone channel, make sure you go out there and check it out. But we've been busy creating content. I've been working on a multi-engine commercial add-on to some of our courses, so been pretty busy with my head in the books, making sure that everything is correct in our slides. And you may notice I'm wearing a long sleeve because it is freezing in here. You should see Ben back here. He's wearing a jacket. For some reason, it's freezing in our office today. So we don't really know why. We're trying to figure out. One of the office on the other side is about normal temperature, and then here it is freezing. So you might see me shivering very soon. All right, we'll get started. I see Ken M has a question about how long should the private pilot ground school take me to complete? That's a question we get quite a bit, actually, Ken. And my answer is always it depends. I know it's not what people want to hear, but it depends on how much time you want to put into it. Think about it this way. The ground school itself, the videos are about 35 hours. And then I'm going to say it's going to take you probably about 35 hours in addition to that to do the rest of the training, to rewatch the videos, to do the quizzes, to study on your own. So probably about 70 hours total. I think it's a pretty good average. We did a survey a while back from our students, and it looks like in most cases it's about, for every hour of content that we have, people study for about 2 hours total on average. So 70 hours, it depends on how you want to split it. You know, at the university, I used to teach this course pretty similar in style and in length. And it took us an entire semester, 16 weeks, to teach this 5 days a week for about an hour. So think about it this way. If you were to do 5 days a week for about an hour, it would take you about 16 weeks to do it. So that's, give yourself plenty of time, by the way. There's no, in most cases, there's no rush. You should be doing this in conjunction with your flight training, if at all possible. Some people like to do all the ground school and then go fly. That's fine. It works. It's absolutely one of the method. I prefer to tell people to do the ground school at the same time as the flight training. So that way you can actually get some experience in the airplane. It will get you, it will help you understand certain concepts that you may not understand if you've never been in an airplane. So that's what I'm going to say about this. So Ken, that's thanks for the question. That was a great question. Okay, what else do we have? Can we use 18 Nuzzle necks to get out of Dodge and across the riverbed? Sure. I mean, I don't see why not. Whatever that means. Okay. I don't. Okay, Maddie said he's not a pilot. He's here to support. Yes, Maddie is one of our longtime follower on the drone side, and he helps us to keep track of comments on here and make sure that everybody stays between the lines. All right. Todd Rusterberg is here. He says, hi, Greg, newbie here. Thanks for being here. Todd, ask any questions you may have. 27 days until AirVenture. Oh, tell me about it. This will be my 6th year helping out there. I've been also helping out getting things set up for AirVenture. Yes, thank you, Connor, for mentioning this. So yes, 27. It's only 27 days. That's crazy. It's right around the corner. It's definitely our next big show. We've been working hard at getting marketing material, at getting stuff for the booth finalized and everything. So yes, it's definitely a lot of work and preparation for AirVenture and Oshkosh. We are excited. We're going to have a team driving. We'll have a team flying. I'll be flying the airplane with Tom. We hope to get there on Saturday, either Friday or Saturday, depending. We have a weather day in there because it's going to take us a day and a half to fly there. And then parking the airplane in front of the tent. We have a giant tent. If you're looking for us, we're right by the entrance on the right side. It's a 80-foot long tent. It's about 30 feet tall or 20 feet tall. You can't miss it. And so if you see a big pink tent and blue siding, that's us. Come and say hi. And Connor, I hope we can see you there. That would be awesome. We saw a lot of our students at Sun and Fun, so we hope to see a lot of students at AirVenture/Oshkosh. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. If you've never been, I know Connor, you said you've been there for 6 years. That's awesome. For those of you that have never been to Oshkosh and you happen to be close to the area, please stop by and just take a look. It's just grand. It's just massive. So, all right. Somebody says, my RV info says, hello all, greetings from the tarmac at Dulles Airport. All right. What else do we have? How far along in ground school would you recommend starting flight training? Great question, Brian Branson. I would say about 25%. Get the ground school started. What it does is it gets you some knowledge. First off, at the beginning of the ground school, I talk about how to pick a flight school. There's some questions that you need to ask yourself. There's some questions you need to ask of the flight schools, and I give you kind of the rundown. And it's very open, by the way. I've been in the flight training environment for 20 years now, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I kind of give you all that information in the course about the things that are red flags with flight schools. Unfortunately, not all flight schools are created equal. There's a lot of good ones out there, but there's also some bad ones, and I want you to avoid seeing those bad ones. So 25% of the course will get you through that first chapter and then get you through like the basics of aerodynamics and the airplane in itself. And then it's a good time to start flight training. Now, you could start flight training from day one. Don't get me wrong. It's not a requirement, but I think what works best is about 25%. Go do start your flight training. And then that way you'll have enough of the ground school under your feet. And then you'll have enough of a lead that you can finish the ground school as you're finishing your flight training and then take your written exam. Hopefully, well, you have to do it before the end, but hopefully close to your first solo would be a good goal, just so you're very knowledgeable by that time, and then do the flight training after that. Okay. We have Todd that says, I think I found a ground school to check out in the suburbs of Chicago, but I want to get through ground school first. I think, a good school, a good flight school. Okay. Do you know any good flight schools around Chicago? I do not, unfortunately, Todd. But like I said, go check out the information that I have in the course, and it will help you to figure out a good flight school. Marty says, I started almost right after the section where you talked about flying a flight school. Yep, I think that's right on point, Marty. I think it's a good time to do that. We have, I try to pick my brain as to all the different things that I've ever seen at flight school that was shady, and I try to put that into those words and into those slides to help you guys figure this out. And like I said, there is some shady characters out there. All right, here's a question for you. Matt Bagwell says, I have reached out and been in touch with a Fast Team coordinator from the FAA about becoming a representative. They want me to travel to my state capital What all would be involved in that interview? I'm trying to figure out if I can schedule it for the next 2 weeks. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So Matt, what they're looking for? Actually, let's. That's a great question. Let's talk about the Fast Team representative thing and what it is. So the FAA has this team of volunteers. I'm one of them, and we have quite a few people in the industry that do this. And basically, what they do is they help the FAA with reaching the community and reaching pilots and presenting information. Now, Matt, in your case, I'm guessing this is going to be for the drone side of things, which the FAA has a section for that called Drone Pros. And your job is to go and reach the community and help putting on events that may be educational for the general population, being at events with a table that you can man, and basically just talk to prospective people that are interested in aviation. So you're like a forefront. Now, you're not an FAA employee. They make that very clear. You're just out there to represent FAA safety if you want. And I think it's a great thing. It's if you're somebody who's knowledgeable in a field of aviation, apply to do it. Obviously, it doesn't pay anything. This is just a pro bono thing that you're going to do. But I think it's great for the community in general. So, Matt, as far as the interview, you're going to have you submitted an application probably already. The things that you put in your application, they're probably going to want to talk about your favorite subject and the things that you would like to do with the flight, the safety, the fast team. I'm sorry. That's really what they want to hear. They're not going to grill you on your knowledge. They really want to know what your plans are, and it's usually pretty friendly. So I don't know that you have much prep to do. They're just going to want to make sure you're a right fit for doing this. Suzuki, he says, currently studying ground with you. My question is, my flight app keeps getting canceled. Oh, my flight app keeps getting canceled for the month of June. All my app got canceled. Is it a sign that I need to change flight schools? I'm guessing your flights are getting canceled. Well, I guess, Suzuki, my question would be, are they giving you a reason for canceling those flights? Cancellations happen. Now, for maintenance, cancel for maintenance for the month of June. That's not a good sign. If you haven't flown at all, it just means that the flight school is seriously under staffed as far as aircraft. They don't have enough aircraft available. So it's not a good sign. It could be that they just don't have enough aircraft. They may not have enough mechanics to work on all the maintenance as well. So it's not a good sign. I'm not saying to change flight schools, but you got to figure out if this is going to be something that's going to happen again. If it's happening now, what's going to happen in the future. Now, keep in mind also, summer is always the time where everybody wants to fly, so there's more pressure put on the schedule typically at flight schools. But still, they may have had bad luck too. I've had that at one of the schools I managed. We had old airplanes that would break down, and then at one point we found that there was a pretty critical piece of the aircraft that was cracked and that had to be replaced, and it happened to have to be replaced on all three of the aircraft that we had of that model, and so we couldn't fly those aircraft. Totally outside of our control. We really tried to get these aircraft back up as quickly as we could, but sometimes it's just difficult. So I would say see if there is anybody else in the area that can fly, that you can fly with, and maybe you'll like it better there. But yeah, it's a tough situation in this case. Marty is asking, this may have been asked before, but are there any plans on adding a course to talk about acquiring an airplane? Not a plane, not a course necessarily, Marty, but more of a long video, probably on YouTube. We've been talking about this. As you may know, we did buy an airplane recently, a Diamond DA40, and it takes time to go through that whole process. You need to understand all the different steps, and then you also need to understand, what you're looking at, what you're looking for when you buy the airplane, and then who you're going to need to talk to, all the paperwork that needs to be done. So yes, I think, Marty, that's a great idea. We've been talking about doing a video on this for a while, and we just haven't gotten to it yet. So Yes, there's quite a few things. But if you have questions, Marty, you know my email. Just send me an email, and I'll walk you through some of the steps that we went through. And it's not for the faint of heart, by the way. Buying an airplane is one of these big life decision and big purchases. So you want to be careful with what you do. Matt is saying I'm super interested in, but feel I may not be knowledgeable enough. They didn't mention application, just asked for me to come in for an interview. Well, maybe what they want to do first, Matt, is just do a first intro, just a discussion, and see if you would be a good fit before you submit the application. So you don't necessarily have to be. I mean, you have to be knowledgeable, and I know you are knowledgeable. They're just looking for the right attitude of someone who's going to be able to talk to other people and approach other people and provide them with guidance. That's the bottom line. Let's see. Todd is saying, I did your free portion of the ground school already and have since bought your ground school. How do I get credit for the portion already completed? Todd, you're going to have to go, unfortunately, because it's two different courses. That's a little bit cumbersome, but you'll have to go in the new course that you purchase and mark those lectures as completed by hand. There's a button at the top that's called complete and continue. You can just click on that, and then it will basically complete these different lectures on the side. Apologize for this. There's unfortunately no way around it when you do it this way. Marty says, yes, it does. Took me 8 months. Yeah, 8 months is sounds about right in this case. All right, so I think let me go check on the YouTube, on the Facebook page, and see if anybody there has any questions. If you have more questions, put them in the comments. We're 16 minutes in. I'm going to keep answering questions until we don't have questions anymore. And I don't see any on this side here. All right. So I was going to talk about something else. Oh, AirVenture. AirVenture. If you've never been, getting into AirVenture, flying an airplane is actually quite complex. They have a procedure, and it's extremely detailed on their website, and you have to follow that procedure to the T in order to get in safely. And I think they have some crazy record of like the number of aircraft that are landing in one day in one location, and it's so busy that what they do is they're looking at aircraft in the distance and kind of calling them. Usually don't talk on the radio. You let them talk and they tell you what to do. And you're just in the distance, and they're going to call out your color of airplane and type of airplane, and then you're going to have to follow somebody else in front of you, and then they're going to give you a dot that you have to land, a colored dot that's on the runway to help you with identifying how far into the runway you need to go. It's a long runway, which means that you have plenty of space, but they kind of made it so that you can land several people on that runway and then have them clear the taxiway pretty quickly. So it's going to be an experience. I've been to Oshkosh before, but I've never flown to Oshkosh. So we're going to go with Tom, our flight instructor. Him and I are going to go and fly in there and then help each other to make sure that we don't do anything dumb on the approach and getting in. So it should be fun. We'll have videos recorded of all of this, and then we'll make sure that we post it on the channel, which is exciting. I can't believe it's only 30 days away. Actually, that just kind of hit me. It's already the end of June, and this is at the end of July. So we've got some more prep to be done, which is exciting. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Let me know. Put a comment in there. And if we don't have more comments, I will be, I don't want to be just talking by myself. So if we don't have any more questions, okay, here's a question. SimVenture is coming up in a few weeks. So it's like doing the Fisk approach, but you can do it in X-Plane 11 or Microsoft Flight Sim. I did not know about this, Connor. Interesting. SimVenture. So it's like, oh, okay. So you can practice. Is that what it is? I want to search more about this because we have Microsoft Flight Sim here. We're actually getting a stick. So we built this simulator that's really cool. It's got a G1000 simulator in it with the panels, and we can basically use the G1000 inside of the simulator and move the screens with the displays and everything and the instruments inside. It's got its own little displays, and it works with Microsoft Flight Sim as you're flying the airplane. But right now we have a control yoke, and we're going to switch it. Well, we're going to add a stick as well, so we can fly like we fly in a diamond. And I'm pretty excited about this. It's on Pilot Edge for SimVenture. Okay, I'll take a look at that, Connor. Thanks for letting me know. I had no idea. Might do a video about this. That would be fun. Todd says, flying has been a goal of mine my whole life. Now that I'm retired at 54, I'm pursuing it. That's awesome. Go for it. I'm nervous, but I assume I will become more comfortable as I learn. Yes, you will. Everybody's nervous at first. Everybody's kind of, 54 or 24, it doesn't matter. Everybody's nervous when they start flying. It's a learning curve. It's going to go like this. You're going to learn a ton very quickly, and then you'll get more and more comfortable every flight. I always love to see my first students the first day that they start, and then after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, how comfortable they are just flying the airplane. It's really, really cool. So how long does that normally take before one feels comfortable flying and talking on the radio? Well, flying and talking on the radio are two different things. Flying the airplane doesn't take very long. After about 10 hours, you'll be pretty comfortable flying around, not landing just yet. Landing takes a little bit longer, but after 10 hours of flight time, you'll be able to move that thing around without much assistance. And then after that, you'll be working on your landings and adding more and more skills. So keep in mind that at first, your instructor, more than likely, they will try to not overwhelm you. So they're going to be doing still quite a few things in the background and helping you. And then little by little, they're going to give you more tasks so that you don't show up on day one and you have to do the radio and do the takeoff and do the landings and look around for people and follow all the checklist. And so it's kind of a building session, right? And so after a while, you'll get more comfortable. Talking on the radio takes time for most people. Understanding what people are telling you. So there's two things, right? There is hearing what people are telling you, and then there is understanding what people are telling you. And hearing is one thing. You can hear what they're saying. You can hear the words. Now you have to put these words and put meanings to them and understand what's actually going on in there. So you can, okay, I just heard that they said that. What does that mean? And then once you understand, once you can hear and understand the radio, then you also have to formulate your own words. And it's a different language. So you have to understand the structure of that language, the different sentences. It's still English, but it's just formulated in a different way, packaged in a different way. And so that will take time. I don't know how long it takes specifically. It's very different for each person, but I can give you tips on how to get better at this. First off, if you have the ability, record your audio during the flight. You can do a video if you want, but record the audio and then replay that audio after your flight so you can really try to grasp everything that they said. And as the audio replays in your head, try to formulate that a sentence that you should have said that maybe your instructor did at first, but now it's your turn to do it. So I always like to sit in the back of the airplane. Radio was difficult for me because I was a non-native speaker and came in to the U.S. with some English, but not a great level of English. And all of a sudden, I have to learn this new language of aviation English and have to talk on the radio, listen on the radio, make sense of it, and then formulate a sentence. And so what I did is I would sit in the back observing the flight, and that's all I did during that flight was just radio. I would just sit there, and as somebody talked on the radio, I would even write down what I was going to say to make sure that I said it in the right order. And so I would write down my answer in cryptic, shorthand, and then I would just say it back. And then I did that over and over and over again until I was comfortable. And then eventually you get there. Eventually you'll get that feeling that you can understand, read back without having to write down anything. At first, write down on your kneeboard. You're going to be given a clearance of a taxiway clearance, and they're going to say left on Charlie and cross runway 12, and then left on Romeo and whatever it is. And you have to make sure you write that down. So find a way to do that shorthand and then read it back. If it's written down on your kneeboard or on your iPad or whatever you're using, it's a lot easier to read back. So the radio is difficult. Don't beat yourself up too much. The radio is difficult. Talking on your radio is difficult because you always think you're going to forget something. But also remember, as soon as you're done talking, somebody else is going to respond. So you got to be ready to write down that instruction if they are going to give you an instruction. And don't forget to take your finger off the mic. A lot of people talk and talk and talk, and they kind of get stuck. Their finger gets stuck on that mic as they're talking, and then you never let it go. So yes, I would say it takes practice. That's really what it's all about. Just like a foreign language. If you want to learn a foreign language, you're going to have to keep practicing. That's what you have to do here. Todd says, I've been listening to YouTube videos of Tower talking to pilots, and right now, unless I write it down, I'm lost. Wait, yeah, that's totally normal. I definitely wouldn't feel too bad about this. Writing it down is good. Write it down and then try to formulate that answer. We have, and other people do too, we have full-length flight videos on our YouTube channel. They're designed exactly for this. You can sit there and you can see inside the cockpit, you can hear the radio, and it starts from doing the checklist, the start engine checklist, all the way until the takeoff, and then all the way to coming back and landing. Now you have the entire flight, and you can hear those radio communication throughout the entire phase of flight. So I would say go watch those videos. There's plenty of available online. We have a couple where we go to different places, and then you can hear everything going on the radio. Yeah, Matt says, I've watched a couple of those, and how you guys keep up with it is crazy. Yep, it's a different language. It takes a lot of time. And if you take a break from flying, I took a break from flying for a while during my life, and then coming back from that the radio is always difficult to get back into it, because it doesn't matter how much training you had. If you hadn't touched it for a while, you just got to get training again. So. All right, folks, we're getting on to the half hour. I'm going to give you more time to leave your comments in here. If you have more questions, put them in here. Otherwise, we might say goodbye and then wait for the next session. All right, I'm going to go back to Facebook real quick and see what's going on over there. I don't see any comments. I also don't see the video on Facebook, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely on YouTube. Yes. All right, folks. Any other questions? Put them in here. I'm going to give you one more minute. And otherwise, I'm going to go back to the side of the office that is not freezing. We laugh about this because this winter we spent a good portion of the winter, our landlord wasn't so good. And so it was cold outside. It gets cold in northern Arizona. It freezes outside every evening, sometimes in the 20s. And we'd come in the office and it was about 64, 65 degrees. And so not fun. When it's cold outside and it's cold inside, that just doesn't work. So, and then now it's winter and we finally have cooling. So that's good. It works. It works a little too well, but we'll take it over being too hot, I think. Yeah. It's about 85, 90 degrees right now outside, and it's starting to heat up. Weather is really interesting up here in northern Arizona. All right, folks, I don't see any more questions. I think I'm going to end the feed right now. Thank you for joining. As always, every 2 weeks we do these. So if you have additional questions, write them down, bring them next time in 2 weeks. Next week, we will be doing this on the drone side of things. And so if you have drone questions, go over to the drone channel, not the airplane channel. Go to the drone channel, and then we'll answer your questions over there. That's always a very popular show. So try to answer it's like a question marathon. Try to answer as many questions as we can in an hour. Yeah, it's fast-paced zingers. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.